Hi, how are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Is it okay if I record this?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
So my name is Chel, and I'm with Women in the Pit and Art Paparazza. We do pit photography, and Lisa Holt and I have gathered up our resources, and we started interviewing people and kind of going over from our perspective about shows, live music. So
Okay,
we know
killer.
that,
Yeah.
yeah, and you guys are coming June 6th, so we're very excited to see you play. And so I had reached out to Earsplit and asked if we could interview you real quick.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
So,
totally.
yeah, so if you want to just give us a brief history of, I know the band started in 2009. You're one of the founding members.
Yep.
Um, and I think you have like four albums since you signed with Metalblade. And this will be your fifth coming out on May 30th. Could you just give us a brief history of how the band came to be and where you're at now with it, technical, music wise?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Uh, we formed in 2009. Several or two local bands, separate local bands in the Reading, Pennsylvania area where we're from, kind of disbanded, and all of us knew each other from just playing shows together. So kind of put this band together with the guys from those two disbanded local groups that still wanted to play music. We put Rivers together, and you just started gigging around, playing local shows, doing regional tours, did a few like self-funded EPs. And then around 2012, we caught the interest of Metal Blade and ended up signing with them. We've done four records with them, four full lengths with them, one in 2013, one in 2015, one in 2018, and one in 2020. And yeah, and our next record, self-titled "Rivers of Nihil," is going to be coming out on May 30th on Metal Blade, and that will be our fifth full length. So yeah, we kind of started off just as like a more traditional, like technical death metal band. And as we've gone down the line here, we've kind of evolved into a little bit more of like a progressive metal kind of thing, brought in, you know, stuff like saxophones and keyboards and singing and acoustic guitars and just stuff that, wasn't part of our initial, sound as a band. So we've been evolving over the last 15 years and kind of just carving out our own little sound in the scene, I guess.
Why did you pick the name?
Well, I mean, our old singer actually just came up with the name. It was it's a silly answer, but I mean, it was just something he thought sounded cool and we thought sounded cool. And it wasn't until this year with the release of the self-titled record that we really started to think about what that name meant to us and kind of tied it into some of the concepts on the new record. But when we first started, it was really just like that sounds pretty cool and pretty metal, But now we've gotten a little more philosophical with it, as we've aged, I guess.
Well, that's what I figured. There had to be something philosophical behind it, but it's kind of refreshing. You found it as like, well, this is a great name. It sounds very metal, and it's actually the band is kind of melded into it.
Yeah,
The lyrics
yeah,
that you provide, it is kind of philosophical. So,
yeah. It's been growing. It's been a growing experience for all of us, I think, and we're just kind of under learning to understand ourselves better with each release for sure.
so what to understand yourself better? Who are your musical influences? How did you get started in the music business?
Um, well, I grew up in a house with a dad who was like a big vinyl collector, big progressive music fan, big classic rock and blues fan. Grew up. I was really into like Stevie Ray Vaughan and Led Zeppelin and Guns N' Roses and Pink Floyd, all that kind of stuff. when I first got into it, and then I think it was probably around the age of 14, 13 or 14, I discovered Children of Bodom. They were like my first, like really like, I was like a diehard, Children of Bodom fan. And that's what really got me into like the more extreme genres of music. And, from there I just got into Pantera and, I was like 15 when like the new wave of American heavy metal was really popping off, like when Lamb of God and Mastodon and Shadows Fall and Killswitch Engage and God Forbid were all like really starting. That was like when I was around 15 years old. So those bands really, kind of really, really like hooked me into heavy metal. And yeah, and I just kind of, went from there and just kind of got into heavier and more obscure and weirder stuff from there. And yeah, I mean, when we started the band, I think like Meshuggah was like a big influence for us, like Morbid Angel was a big influence for us. Cynic was a big influence for us. Um, yeah, like bands like that are like why we really started. And then, as we all kind of grew, like got older and got into like different kinds of music, now everybody kind of listens to everything, like I take just as much inspiration these days from Morbid Angel as I do from Radiohead. I like kind of don't really discriminate, so I can kind of pull influence from anybody who's passionate about what they do and, just kind of sticks with it really,
Yeah. Music is art. Art is subjective. So I think
Right.
it's a really good minded thing to have is to be open minded all genres of music. I
Yeah,
started
definitely.
I started off with just classic rock and roll, hard rock,
Yeah.
and death metal has actually sung to me, and I
Yeah.
don't know why. And there's just something about it that the emotions. I think my first one was um, Entheos, Cheney
Oh yeah.
Crab. Oh, I
Yeah.
just love her voice.
Yeah.
So
She's great.
yeah. And so I just started going, well, what else is there? What else is there? So now every time there's a tech metal or a progressive metal band coming to Northern California, I'm trying my best to get in there and see them because
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, it's been a really good experience. So I've
That's
enjoyed
cool.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
So how has the musical taste of the band? Has it shifted since your first EP, which was what, in 2009? How has it
Yeah.
shifted? Is it because of the membership change or just
Um,
growing up or?
yeah, I just think just like, you know, yeah, just like getting older and just like not outgrowing anything, but just like just turning over rocks really and looking for new things to listen to. Like, I think, yeah, like when we started, we were all like really like on about like the metal, only metal. But like, as we kind of wrote more stuff together and realized like, you know, what our skills were and what kind of like what we were good at. We figured out that we could work in some of our like less metal influences into like a metal context, like Pink Floyd or something like that into the context of like a death metal song, and you can kind of end up with, you know, different kinds of results than if we would have just kind of stayed with the like death metal only formula that we started with. So yeah, we've definitely changed our, influence, just gotten everything we write is kind of just a collection of everything that we've heard in our entire lives really, so you listen to new stuff all the time and every record is going to have a slightly different feel to it just because you're going to be influenced by different bands and even films and just like life, really life experiences too. I mean, anything can I feel like everything that you've experienced as a person kind of like works its way into whatever it is that you're working on creatively. So
Yeah.
granted, we're a musical group, and music is going to obviously be the biggest influence for us. But just I think anything that you experience in life has a way of working itself into whatever you're doing creatively, whether it's music or visual art or anything.
Yeah, I'm taking a step away from my usual questions. I noticed the artwork on your back wall.
Oh yeah.
One of the things I'm really into are album covers and
Oh okay.
artwork. And do you guys have any particular special artwork coming up on this album, or did you guys enlist any artists to create for you?
Um, well, we've been using. I actually have. We just got advanced copies of the vinyl
Ooh.
for the new record,
Oh, that's
which
beautiful.
really cool. Yeah,
Mhm.
but the same artist has done all of our albums. You can kind of see the four of them hanging behind me
Mhm.
there. His name is Dan Seagrave. He's done artwork for Morbid Angel and Suffocation and Decrepit Birth and I mean I think he also did artwork for like Shadow of Intent for their new album. Like
Oh,
he's
wow.
he's he's just kind of like he's been around for a long time and he's sort of a legend at this point in like the death metal realm. But yeah, he's done all of our artwork and we enlisted him again for this new album and yeah, we love working with him. I mean, we basically just kind of give him a rough idea of what we're looking for and send him some lyrics and then he kind of just goes to work and it's pretty rare that we have to make any major changes to what he's doing. So
Yeah.
so yeah, we're doing vinyl and we have lots of like killer merch designs that are available right now for pre-order and we're going to be doing flags and all that kind of stuff with all the new artwork on it. So there will be a bunch of cool visual stuff coming out in the next couple months, I think.
That's great. And we'll provide a link to that on our website as well so that people can just access it with one click.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
yeah. And the other question I was going to ask about was saxophone, incorporating saxophone in the music. And then I see all of your axes behind you. Do you
Yeah.
use all of those for when you're on tour, or is it do you just pick one or two? Do you have a favorite?
I usually just bring like two with me, like a main one and a backup one. But this one over here, this is like the one that I've been using as my main for a while.
That's
It's the company's Kiesel. I've been working with them since 2014, and they're actually out of San Diego. And yeah, they just like make really great guitars, and this is the one I've been using for like the last 2.5, 3 years maybe.
oh wow.
And yeah, I really love it, and it's definitely my favorite right now. But that always, you get attached to different guitars,
Yeah.
depending on how you're feeling, I guess. But that's definitely been my favorite one lately.
Okay. And then incorporating the saxophone into the musical genre. How has that been? Has that changed the sound a lot, or how has that worked for you guys?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it really just kind of happened through trial and error, honestly. When we first started to bring saxophone in, we just had like songs that had big open sections, instrumental sections that we weren't really sure what to do with it. Like I could have written like a really long guitar solo, but like maybe that would have been, boring or too much. So we just had a friend who was really talented on the sax, and he kind of offered to, hey, if you guys ever want to try to put some sax on a song, I'd be down to try it out.
Yeah.
So we literally just tried it out, and we were like, wow, this is pretty cool. And then that the first time we did that was on our record from 2018 called Where Owls Know My Name. And it seemed like people, really like latched on to that sound. So it's been on our last three records, well, the last two, and then this new one coming out. So yeah, it's just kind of it adds like a different dimension to the music, and definitely kind of like sets us apart from other bands because there's not a whole lot of bands in the death metal realm out there that have a live saxophone player. So it's
Yeah.
it's always cool to see people's faces when our sax guy comes out on stage, and plays. I don't know. People just don't expect to see it, so it's always pretty cool to see people just light
Yeah.
up and
Yeah.
get the phones out to when that happens because
Yeah.
it's definitely different. So we just embrace it really. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know that you guys have your North American tour starting up in May, I believe. And I
Mhm.
think you're in Sacramento or the Roseville area, Northern California in June 6th, I think.
Mhm.
So, how has the tour been so far, and what can we expect when you guys come to North America?
Oh yeah, so yeah, we just got back from Europe in maybe like a week and a half ago. That was really killer. We were over there with Cynic and Beyond Creation and Doth, and yeah, we were there for about 4 weeks. It was awesome. Then this North American tour is going to be us, Holy Fawn, Inner Arma, and Glacial Tomb. And yeah, we're gonna be playing a bunch of stuff from the new record. We're gonna have some really cool lighting production out with us. We're gonna have live saxophone with us. And yeah, it's gonna be a really cool tour. I think, especially the bands we're bringing. They're all very different. You know, Holy Fawn is like very like ethereal and like almost like cinematic, and then Inner Arma is just like really weird, progressive, kind of like grindy death metal, and then Glacial Tomb is like it's the guitar player from the band Chemist. It's his other band, so they're like more like old school death metal kind of, but yeah, it's a really diverse tour package, and yeah, we're really excited to get back out there. It's kicks off May 22nd, and we have VIP packages available, and obviously regular and general admission. So encourage everyone who wants to come out and see a cool night of diverse heavy music to grab a ticket.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And again, I'll provide links to that on our website as well. And then my last question I usually like to ask people is, what do you listen to when you're not playing death metal, progressive metal, technical? What's in your ear when you're relaxing?
When I'm relaxing, I listen to a lot of Radiohead. I've been listening to, actually been listening to the new Mars Volta album recently, which is like kind of weird ethereal jazz. It's like softer than their older stuff. So that's kind of been relaxing. Also been listening to a band called Big Thief. They're kind of like a folk indie band. And then the singer of that band, her name is Adrienne Lenker. She has a whole solo career that is really awesome. And I've been listening to a lot of her stuff lately. It's just like really like relaxing, like acoustic, folky, kind of sad, but sometimes sad. But yeah, like been listening to her stuff a lot lately though. So yeah.
And what was her name? Andrea
Adrienne Lenker.
Lanker.
Yeah,
Okay.
she like really reminds me of kind of like some of like the like 60s and 70s folk singers like Joni Mitchell or something like that,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But yeah, she's really cool, and she writes all of the music for her solo project, obviously, but then she also writes everything for the other band I mentioned, Big Thief. That's like her other band. She sings for them as well. So she's yeah, I've been listening to her a lot, like over the last couple of years. Been really getting into all of her stuff. So I would suggest checking her out.
Yeah,
For sure.
I've never heard her, so I am going to check it out as soon as I hang up here.
Hell yeah, sounds
Yeah.
good.
Well, I appreciate your time. Again, the album's May 30th for
Hmm.
Metalblade Records, and it's
Yep.
self-titled.
Hmm.
And you guys kick off your North American tour May 22nd, around there.
That's right. Yep.
And people need to come watch it, buy tickets, and support live music.
That's
Um,
right.
all right. Well, is there anything you want to leave our subscribers with? Any pearls of wisdom?
Pearls of wisdom. I'm not sure about that. If I'm warranted, if I should be warranted to give advice, but I would suggest people pre-order our new album because that would definitely be helping us out. So yeah, grab it at metalblade.com or riversofnihil.com. You can get everything you need: tour tickets, merch, pre-orders, everything. Riversofnihil.com or metalbladerecords.com. Yeah.
One-stop shop. Sounds good for me.
Yep. Sounds
All right.
good.
Well, thank you so much for your time. And we'll get this up probably this evening and make sure it gets to our subscribers and gets on all of our socials.
All right.
So,
Thanks for having me.
all right. Thank you. Have a good day.
Yeah, me too.
Thanks. Bye bye.